Okay, my name is Nellie Mutimeri. I'm a geologist by training. I specialized in applied mineralogy, and for many years, I worked in process optimization for mineral processing projects. But more recently, I'm more focused on sustainability issues. I do a lot of sustainability work in the artisanal small-scale mining sector and in general mining policy and strategy, mostly on the African continent, but also I've done some work in South America and Asia. A lot of the artisanal miners that I work with actually, or projects that I work on, has to do with artisanal gold mining. And mercury use is quite rampant in the artisanal small-scale mining gold sector, to the extent that there is, under the Minamata Convention on Mercury Pollution, which is a UN convention, there is a special program that is trying to help countries where mercury pollution is a problem from that sector, are being assisted to reduce pollution from artisanal miners. So mercury is a big problem because it's bad for the environment, but also because it ends up in the food chain through fish, and when the mercury is converted to methyl mercury, so it becomes ingested by people, but also there's the fumes that can end up being inhaled in communities and by people, actually have terrible health impacts for communities. So I think that I will give you an anecdotal response of an experience that I had when I was actually still studying my bachelor's degree. So I did my first degree at Chelsea College, part of the University of London colleges. And because I'm originally from Zimbabwe, I wanted to go back home to do my mapping project for my bachelor's so that I would have the experience of having worked in Zimbabwe where I graduated. And when my supervisor at Chelsea College wrote to the University of Zimbabwe asking, we've got this young lady from there who wants to actually come out and do their mapping work, the response was, we don't encourage our girls to do field work. We encourage them to do lab projects. But I was creative around it. I actually convinced them that I would have an uncle who would walk around with me for 4 weeks in the bush. So even though that actually never happened, I confess, but they allowed me to do the project because they thought I would have somebody, a man, walking around with me in the field. So that was kind of very early on before I even started work. I encounter around how those barriers that are put in front of you just because you're a woman, and yeah, so it's one example. I have many, but that's one that comes to mind immediately. So as a member of the board, we would, in addition to coordinating the teams that evaluated applications and any progress reports, we would meet once a year to actually develop the vision of where IGCP would go for the next 12 months. And I was a member of that board for 4 years. And then, but post that, because I now have the exposure to the process of IGCP, I could see how some of the opportunities that they present could be used in the work that I do. A typical example is a project that I executed as part of my work with the University of Witwatersrand, where I'm an associate professor. We did a project on geoheritage, and we were taking advantage of the fact that I'm an academic and we teach, and the idea was to take advantage of a small funding opportunity that UNESCO had, that I found out through IGCP, that we could actually train people that are interested in geoheritage in Southern Africa. We actually focused on English-speaking Southern Africa for budget reasons. So that's something that comes out of my involvement with the IGCP post my serving on the board. I would say don't let anyone detract you from if your passion is about geosciences, I would say don't let anyone detract you. But at the same time, I think sometimes we kind of one can narrowly look at geosciences as a career. But I think the fact that I don't do traditional geology, I'm not saying I'm encouraging it, but to say that geology can actually be the launching pad for career, for jobs that are beyond just mining and rocks and mapping. There's many opportunities that if one is willing to explore, you can link geosciences to many diverse career opportunities. So I would say that don't be discouraged by the fact that it's only rocks, that it might be a narrow field when you think of it only as rocks and geology, and mining, but it can actually be much broader than that.